Let's see. Hello, hello. Welcome, guys. Let's see here. Make sure everything's in order. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Sorry, I was running a little late today. Energy level has been pretty low recently. So, now how is the audio and the video? Is the lighting okay? Does it sound all right? Want to make sure the audio is good. Hey, Q. Excellent. Hey, Michael. Hey, Ariel. Hey, Q. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, sorry I'm running a bit late. I was hoping I'd be quite punctual today, but didn't necessarily work out that way. But we're still here, as always. And nice to have contact from everywhere on the globe. So I appreciate you guys being here. Very much so. So Q, how's the audio and video on Facebook Live? Is that okay? Does that look all right? Probably should have shaved today. I'm a little stubbly, but cool. Thank you. Well, you know what? This is how you know that this is real stuff. You know, it's not full of additives and preservatives. Is what you get is what you get. Especially too busy trying to. You can't go making this stuff up. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So yeah. So this week's topic is going to be an interesting topic. Now Michael is also saying weather is great here in Minnesota. Fantastic. Yeah, it was a great. It's been a great spring day here in. It's been a great spring day, and I lowered my ringer. Okay. See, this is why I'm glad that I'll tell you, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. But yes, a beautiful spring day today. gorgeous out. I actually made it out to my yard. It was really, really nice. I didn't do any major earthing today, but I did go out there to get the mail, which was really, really nice to go out there and feel spring actually have sprung. The weather being wonderful, just really nice. Temperature being nice, and Quincy was loving it outside, and just overall a great day, temperature-wise. Really good stuff. Also, interestingly enough, be aware of a lot of technical glitches. I've been dealing with a lot of technical glitches recently, so the energy is definitely kind of in flux somewhere, some way, somehow. There's some fluctuations with energy, how energy is kind of tossed on its head. So I haven't fully investigated that, but it's kind of interesting how it's in the air. It's definitely in the air, for sure. So I'm hoping everything is going well with all of you, and we're looking at another great topic today. I was actually inspired a few weeks ago. Someone had asked a few weeks ago regarding connecting with your spirit guides, life protectors, totem animals, that kind of thing, on how a little further on how to connect with them. So that's the topic for today, is how to connect with your spirit guides and totem animals and life protectors. So it's going to be an interesting topic today. Also, too, it's something where, we're not always, we may think we're alone at any given moment, but technically we're really, really not. We're always being watched, or we're always being taken care of, even when we're little children. Even when we're children, we have that. So this is going to be pretty cool stuff. June, hello. Nice to see you. Hope you are doing well. I haven't formally started the show yet, but I will be starting it probably in, a few minutes or so. Hello, Pamela. And I did get your message, and regarding connecting with you, sorry we couldn't connect over the weekend. It's been a pretty crazy weekend, and it was Easter weekend too, so a lot of family obligations that I need to take care of. But I haven't forgot about you, though. Exactly, so I'll have to set some time up so I can do that. Cool. So I hope everyone is well. And here we are, of course, YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Insight with Moonshadow, episode 65. 65, I believe. So it's been 65 episodes and still going. So it's something where we're still doing it. Also, too, there's been a stop up of, because in the Insight in the Insight with Moonshadow family, we had some turbulence and some things that prohibited us to get on the editing thing. But that will be, all the shows will be, the past shows from when I went to Reno on up to today will be up and edited and polished up very, very soon. So we will be taking care of that. Will be all current. Fantastic. So I just got the memo that editing is relatively back on schedule. So we'll get all that back up, and also to the episode, the special edition of Insight with Moonshadow Journeys, live from Reno on the West Coast, will be up once we get all the editing done, because it's going to be different. There's a footage and a lot of different things coming up. So there's going to be a lot of stuff with that one. So that one, I was hoping to have it uploaded already, but unfortunately, life get in the way. But it's going to happen, and it'll happen. I'm hoping within the next few days, so all of you can check it out. Also, I'd like to say, prior to, I'll probably also thank my newest subscribers on YouTube as well, in the formal start of the show. But thank you, anyone that's come in, my newest subscribers, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to hit that subscribe button. So I really appreciate that as well. So yes, so we'll give it a couple more minutes and we'll start the show. And we'll see if the person that actually requested this topic to pop in. If not, they will be able to catch the replay. So that will be good. So other than that, hope all is well. Let's see here what time we got here. All right, we got another minute. We can get going. So hope all of you are well. Hope your Easter weekend was a great one. I know there's been a lot of crazy changes coming up. A lot of people that I know, there's been a lot of drastic changes in their lives, and it's not always fun, but it does happen. Now, also too, June is saying that she has her t-shirt designs for sale. Cool. I did not even know you had t-shirts for sale. So I have no problem with you sharing that in the chat. As a matter of fact, if you want to, I don't know if you can do that on YouTube though. I don't know if you can put in a link. You may not be able to do that. I know it's difficult to do that. So you may want to separate the .com with a space, and that might help you be able to put the link in. Hey, Dina. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see if we can get comfortable here. All right. I think that's a little bit better. So yeah, so let's get this puppy started. Welcome to Inside with Moonshadow. I am Moonshadow, an integrative holistic therapist, intuitive shaman, interfaith minister, and evangelist with over 30 years of experience in the healing field within the U.S. as well as internationally. My intention is to help you connect to your inner self and you connect to the world around you. Now, this is not pie in the sky stuff. This is all about simple, basic techniques and ways of thinking to help you become a better you. And if you become a better you, then you can become a better person around you. We're all works in progress. All of us are. And there is no such thing as perfection. So we try to achieve as close to our best as we can. And it's always a work in progress every single day. Don't let anyone tell you different. We're all flawed, we're all perfect, and we're all flawed, all at the same time in that strange, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly kind of thing we call life. So now, first of all, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers on YouTube Live. Welcome, and thank you for taking time to hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it, the support, as well as the connection, being able for you to have the notification up to let you know that I am up and on and live, ready to talk about whatever happens to come up through spirit and through intuition or through world events, because a lot of this is connecting through social activism. It could be connecting through what spirit or source tells me at the time, or what people bring to me as well, because there are times that you yourselves inspire me to bring up a topic, whether it's something that's affecting your life at the time, or something that you want to hear or want to learn about or want to talk about or want to share. And I vicariously share it here through Insight with Moonshadow Live. So now today's topic is regarding spirit guides, totem animals, life protectors. Now, going back a few weeks ago on the live broadcast, someone had asked, how do you connect? What techniques do you use? And how do you connect to your life protectors and spirit guides? Now, there are many, many different techniques to do this. There are multiple ways of doing it, no different than there are multiple ways for you to go to your grocery store or go to your nearest coffee shop. There's usually multiple possible ways that you can do it. So I'm going to try to give you some of the techniques that are more within the more organic and natural way of doing it. Reason being is because we, as people, we can overcomplicate things very, very easily. So hoping to not get into too much of a complicated mess of things, because in the world we are today, we are built of mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so we have mind, body, and spirit. Now, these very, very delicate and sensitive bodies all unite us completely into one form. So it's that spark, that our soul, and that spark that unites us and makes us that breathe and makes us live and makes our heart beat. All of it is based with that spark. So now they have found that even with the spark of the soul, they have measured, and again, they haven't definitively said it is a fact or not. However, they've measured the body right before death, and they've measured the body at death. And they found that it was, I believe it was like 7 grams, something to that degree. It was 7 grams lighter. So they believe that that may or may not be the spark or our soul having actual weight. Now, if you're asking me my opinion, I do believe that the soul is a measurable thing, because how can you describe just us being bioelectrical? There's got to be something. There's got to be something etheric or spiritual attached. So that's another. But here on Insight with Moonshadow, we don't judge or criticize anyone for their thoughts or beliefs, because depending on what your situation is, depending on how you were conditioned, how you were raised, how you were nurtured, what your nature is, how you're hardwired, all those things really depends on what and how you perceive the world. So this is not something where we're going to throw judgment on what you think. So also, I, one, have no different than any of you. I'm sure all of us have experienced the fact of being harshly judged or perceived in the wrong light. So just to let you know, until you really know the person, don't just judge automatically. You may be wrong, and I can almost guarantee you probably will be wrong. But now, looking at how to connect to your spirit guides and life protectors and totem animals, there are many different variables and ways that you can connect with them. Now, you can connect them through lucid dreaming, meditation, and even when you go to sleep in a more involuntary basis. So what we'll do is we'll start off with, hey Marisha, how are you? So now let's start off with, say, active dreaming and lucid dreaming, because that is something that we do all the time. We don't necessarily remember dreaming. We don't necessarily remember all our dreams all the time. However, lately it's been some pretty cray dreams, I gotta say. There's been a lot of really fantastical imagery in my dreams lately, and I've been remembering big pieces, parts involving them. But let's say, for example, you would like to connect to your spirit guide or life or life protector or totem. Now, what's the difference? Hello, hello. Now, what's the difference between a life protector and spirit guide and totem animal? There isn't a whole lot of difference. It's more like a specialization of their it's more like a specialization of what their task is. So a life protector is exactly that, is a being or an entity that protects you from harm. Think of it like hired muscle. They keep you out of harm's way. They're like the goalie that kind of moves you from one direction to the next. Now, a life protector can also be a spirit guide, can also be a totem animal. So it's more like a specific task involved thing when they're strictly a life protector. They're basically watching out for you, getting out of, they're in front of you or behind you, on the side of you, surrounding you from harm's way. That's a big part of what life protectors do. Now, granted, totem animals as well as spirit guides can also protect you in that way too. You have warrior type or protective type of spirit guides. So all of them can kind of fit in all three categories, depending. It's just some of them are only connecting to one more predominantly. So now, if you look at that from that perspective, you can connect to all of them through the techniques that we're going to get into today. So now, first of all, now through active dreaming or lucid dreaming, this is probably one of the easiest methods because it doesn't require a whole lot of your attention or your focus. A lot of that is when you just right before or shortly before going to bed, you want to do this prior to being really, really sleepy. You want to set the intention. You want to set the intention that basically you're sending out an invitation to your guides, your totems, or what I call spirit or soul council, because they're there for you, and they're there for you all the time. A lot of times when we had invisible friends or imaginary friends, a lot of that was your soul council or life protectors or spirit guides or totems that are watching over you. And yes, they could be angels, trolls, imps, gnomes, fairy folk, dragons, all of that. Because here in our physical body, there could be almost anything in the mythic realm that can watch us and watch over us. Now, June is saying she has very detailed dreams and she dreams in color. Now, this is the interesting thing. Not everyone dreams in color. A lot of times you may not even realize whether you dream in color or not. But when you dream in color, it feels incredibly realistic, and it feels no different than when you're awake. So it's something to think about. Also, it'd be interesting to, as a footnote to this, a little moonsight here, is keep a pad and pen or pencil nearby your bed, because in doing this inner work, if you get up and you are fully awake, you're more than likely going to forget your dream and key parts of your dream. So you really have to be careful and watchful of that. So if you have some kind of pad or some kind of journal next to your bed or nearby you, what you can do is at that point, when you start to wake up, just jot down, doodle, draw, sketch, whatever it is that you're getting, even if it's just keywords, just enough so you remember, or even write triggers down or draw triggers down so you can connect with what you dreamt about, so it can bring you back to what you were thinking and what you were dreaming. So pad by the bed, for sure. Pad, pencil, pen, crayon, whichever works for you. Now, June is saying here, most of the time I never know when I'm going to sleep. I'm awake then, I'm suddenly dreaming or awake. Exactly. Now, this is also part of it. So you want to do this when you're actually awake to set the intention, because a lot of times if you don't set the intention then, you'll fall asleep and then your random RAM memory, your random eye movement, your body will, your spirit will go traveling wherever it needs to go, right? So that's also part of it too. So now, first of all, setting the intention. So you set the intention. Okay, so let's just imagine here for a moment, for working process, that I want to have my spirit guides or my life protectors, totems, soul council come to me and help me or give me insight or wisdom. I set the intention. So I ask, a lot of times also too, there's no denomination as far as spirituality or faith. You can still do this. Now, it would make a difference if you believe in angels or not, or if you believe in this stuff, and if your religion allows that kind of thing. I myself, I'm not really part of the organized religion sect. I am far more from the interfaith, and God is God, the Creator, and the Great Father is the Great Father. That's it. I believe Mother Earth is kindred as well as every tree, rock, animal, everything. We're all family. Or in Hawaiian, it'd be Ohana. But we're all connected, and we're all interweaved with each other. So all of us have to own up to our own stuff and how we connect to others. So when you think of that person that's homeless, that person's connected to you too. Person having a hard time, that person's connected to you as well. So now let's put the intention out. So we put the intention out there that, I would like for my guides or my soul council to come through and give me any insight, any kind of wisdom, anything that I need to know to come to me in the form of my dreams when I'm asleep. It's that simple. And then you have a pad by the bed. Now, in the process, some people, they feel that lucid part of their dreaming aspect, where they start to feel tired, and then they drift off and go to sleep. I myself don't always feel that way. Sometimes it's straight up, I'm awake, I close my eyes, and I'm gone. Other times, I'm just exhausted and I just drift off to sleep. So it really depends on you. But if you set the intention prior to, while you're awake, then you have a pad by your bed. When you wake up, you can write down whatever keyword, doodle, sketch, whatever it may be, for you to kind of bring it back, to rein it in, trigger words or bullet points, anything like that to remember, to remind you to bring it back. And also too, in your intention, ask them to remind you. Ask them to make sure that you can remember, because they will help you doing that as well. Your guides and your totems, your angels, your life protectors, all of them will also help you remember, and they'll trigger your memory so you will remember what it is. Because a lot of times I will ask my own guides to increase my memory. So if it's something I'm trying to remember, I can recall that information a lot quicker with their help. So it's always a team effort. So if you really, really think about it, within your dreams and within your life, you are the lead role per se. So you are you are basically the center of your own universe in a bit of a way, not an egotistical kind of way, but you are the center, and then everyone kind of revolves or gravitates around you, very, very similarly to, like the planets revolving around the sun. So that being said, that's one method that you could reach out to them. And it's really something where you're just leaving it up to them, kind of autopilot, but you put the intention, a strong intention out there for them to connect with you and for them to give you the knowledge or the wisdom or the insight that you need at that given time. Because all of us are going through, especially in the world today, presently, 2017, there's a lot of chaos right now. There's a lot of things that are going on right now that we don't necessarily have control over. There are, I know people that all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're switching jobs, changing careers, relationships are changing. Everything is happening. And it's happening in such a frenetic pace that it's like we can't keep up. So in connecting with your spirit guide, totem animals, life protectors, they not only teach, but they may also be our offspring, our future offspring, our past offspring, soul children. And I know that sounds like a lot. I know it's a mouthful, and there are a lot of possibilities and potentials out there. So all I ask is for you to have an open mind, and for you to already be to be here, listening to the ravings of this person, me being on camera live here. Then you must already have somewhat of an open mind, and skeptics are welcome. Just saying. So now, looking at it from that perspective, so now you could call them by intention and just dreaming. Now, this is not foolproof. This is not something where it'll happen the first night. It may happen right away. It might take a few days for you to do that, with intention for you to connect and do that. Now, also, too, if you've never connected to a spirit guide, or if a spirit guide and life protector, due to you not being looked at like a crazy person, they kind of step back, or they step aside, so they're in your periphery. They're not directly right in front of you, or in your face, if you will, or right around you. They could be backed up just far enough from you that you can't see them, but they're there. They're always there, and I can guarantee they're always there. Especially when you're with children, you find that quite often. That's when the imaginary friend comes in, because the good majority of the time, that imaginary friend is someone that's actually brought to your child to protect them in one way, shape, or form. So that's one way, through dreaming. Now you set the intention, do what you have to do there, keep it padded by the bed, and then as soon as you get up, write down what comes up. Do not edit, do not poke, prod, or investigate what it is when you're jotting these bullet points down, or these little key phrases or drawings or whatever it is down. Do not edit it then. Just write down every possible thing that comes to you, no matter how ridiculous it seems. Write it down, draw it, sketch it, whatever it takes for you to remember or to trigger what insight or what the message was in that dream from your soul counsel. So that's one way. Another way of doing that is through journey and meditation. So now, utilizing journeying, you can go through using shamanic journeying and using a drum. Now, in previous episodes, I did use a drum, and that was also something that was asked about as well, on doing a full-blown shamanic journey, which I have thought about doing a full broadcast on just having a journey, starting it off and doing a full-blown shamanic journey to have you connect with your guide or totem or part of your soul council. So now, when you journey, that's a little more of an intentional thing where you have to be actively listening, and you're not fully, and you have to send part of your energy into beyond the veil, into the upper, lower, or middle worlds. And when you do that, then you're going to find that this is where imagination really takes point here, because when you're doing it that way, when you're going into journeying that way, you have to be aware and conscious of what you're picking up. Now, you may feel things, you may hear things, you may smell things. Some people are clairaudient, where they just hear. Some people, and thank you so much for the hearts, appreciate that so much. And Lindsay, hello. So looking at it from that perspective, you could, when you journey in that way, it's using more intention and more strength of will at that point. So you're not just going into autopilot like as if you're going through it in a dream state or lucid dreaming. It takes quite a bit of practice and training, and lots of love to you, Lindsay. It's so good to see you. It takes a lot of training to get used to what you see and what you think and what comes to you, because a lot of times it can very much seem like you're making it up, like you're pretending, like you're faking it. Now, I can tell you from my perspective and my experience that you are not faking it. When you get intuition, like they have mother's intuition, intuition is intuition. So regardless whether you're a parent, regardless whether you're a family, whichever it is, intuition is intuition. And we got my mother in the house. Welcome. She's on Facebook Live, checking me out. So going through that, when you're going through meditation and journeying, you will find that it takes a little more intention to find your way through. So you really need to be not hyper focused, but it's like a soft focus. You want to kind of be in a soft focus kind of way, where you're doing without doing all at the same time, and you're being aware. Now, when you go through a shamanic journey, you will find that your guides and your totems, they may show up in very various ways. Perfect example. Now, if any of you have seen What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams, it's a must-see. I say it's a must-see movie. If you want to see a really interesting movie, see it. That is, in my way, I think, in my perspective, what heaven or what the afterlife will very much be like, or may seem like. Now, granted, I don't remember a lot of that when I've gone and come back, but I believe that the afterlife is very much similar to What Dreams May Come. But the thing is this, though. In What Dreams May Come, there were people that came to Robin Williams, and they came under the guise of a different look. They looked different than the person that he had known, his character had known. Okay, and also Marisha's saying she loves that movie. It's one of her favorites. Phenomenal movie. It's a heartbreaking movie. It really is a touching, profound movie. I want to say, if I was to pick a movie to suggest for you to check out, it's definitely that. And of course, one of my favorite books that I would ever suggest to anyone is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So those two, must have, must see, must read, must watch. Now, when you're journeying, it's very similarly to that movie as well. You may see all kinds of really interesting and fantastical things that you don't normally see in your awaking life. So this is something where you should understand that it may come to you very uniquely. So you're dreaming, but you're not dreaming all at the same time. Part of your consciousness is here, part of your consciousness is in one of the other realms, being the lower, middle, or upper world. Now you could utilize that with singing bowls, you can utilize that with a rattle, you can utilize that with a drum. You can also go with guided visualization or a guided journey as well. However, when you go into a guided visualization, if you have someone talking, telling you, okay, so now you're doing this, or now watch for this, or whatever it may be, it may take away a little bit from your experience. So this is why I suggest using drumming or a singing bowl or binaural beats, something along those lines, to kind of be in the background and help you and lull you into that without being too much, in the forefront. So background noise, a little bit better. So it's kind of like in the background, working its way, guiding you without getting in your way of your experience or your journey. Now, upon going into your journey, you may meet your spirit guide or totem or life protector, and they may not be what you think they are. They may show up differently. They may look different. So as an example, if you have one of the Fae, that's one of your protectors. They are very, very small and they don't look like they're very, very powerful. But let me tell you something. Even the smallest, most unassuming totems are incredibly powerful. For example, hummingbird is one. Now, just recently, going back a few weeks ago when I was out west, I did see hummingbird. Now, hummingbird was phenomenal, and hummingbird came to me as well as a couple of the people that I was on the trip with. So now hummingbird is the guardian of joy. That's their message. It's about joy. Now, hummingbird also has to work really, really hard to be able to hover. It's one of the few animals that can hover like a helicopter. So now you're looking at something that's no bigger than this. Hummingbird is very, very small, but they carry the characteristic and the message of joy. Joy is a huge thing. It's a huge emotion. Now, how can something so little carry something so big? And that's just an example. So don't fret if you think, okay, well, my totem isn't, an eagle or, some big badass animal or that kind of thing, because it's really not what they are, who they are. It's more the message that they have for you. And that's the important part. We judge sometimes a little bit too much what it could be. Like, for example, one of my friends has ant as a totem. So yeah, ant. So we look at ant, and ant is one of the tiniest little creatures, right? Now, guess this is the interesting thing about ant medicine. Ant medicine, they're industrial little animals. They can build things incredibly quickly. They can destroy things incredibly quickly. And if you had the actual strength of an ant, you can actually carry probably 10 to 15 times your body weight. So now, I myself, I'm at about 200 and something odd pounds. Now, I could probably, if I could carry 10 times my weight, that would be pretty badass. So this makes you think differently about ant, doesn't it? So now, so this is something not to allow your ego to get involved in how cool your spirit guide or life protector is or totem is. It really doesn't matter. It's really the message and how they protect you. So the smallest little thing can protect you far larger than the largest. As previous, I did mention the story about the dragonfly, how the dragonfly was actually dragon being tricked into becoming the dragonfly by a raven. So that says a lot. So through journeying, you are able to have a little more of control and more of your consciousness involved in connecting with your spirit guides, totems, angels, life protectors. Also, it's really important to go in there with an open mind, because if you're going to say, oh, my I'm going to see my spirit guide, and my spirit guide's going to be male or female, it's going to be look like this, and it's going to do this, and it's going to do that. My suggestion to you is really leave out a lot of that precursory judgment on what you think it's going to be, because you're only taking away from your own experience. So if you go in with an open mind and an open heart, but being cautious, because as well, like with anything else, you go into dreams you can have nightmares too. So that's another possibility. So you want to go with good intention and walk in with being in a safe place. And once you go in, you're able to really thoroughly connect properly with your guides, totems, etc. Okay. So through journeying, you can do that. Now, when you notice that they may speak to you telepathically, they can actually speak to you. So you may be able to find, it could be an animal that speaks to you like I'm speaking to you now. A lot of my totem animals have spoken through telepathy or through actually speaking, where I'm literally looking at a bear and the bear is talking to me like I'm talking to you right now, and I hear their voice as it is. Also, too, there are times that in the effect of totem animals, sometimes you may hear them in their native speech. So if it was, say, a wolf, you might hear a wolf vocalizing, but then in essence your mind is already translating it into a way that you understand. So there's also that as well. So shamanic journeying or through guided visualization, that is one very powerful and profound way of being able to connect to your guides and connect to your spirit guides and soul counsel. Now, also too, as a side note, it takes time to build a relationship. So even though they've had a relationship with you for quite a long time without your knowing or without your knowledge, you may not have built enough of, you may have not been conscious enough to connect with them. I remember seeing someone, seeing an intuitive. I was doing a fair. This is many moons ago, and I was doing a fair, and I was doing a trade with another intuitive, and this intuitive said, "Boy, you are very, very protected." And I asked why, and this intuitive had said, "Well, we're here trading readings and trading messages. However, all I see is you surrounded by these beings. Like I was literally in the center, and they were surrounding me. And one was prominently sitting there like this, going, okay, what's up? What's going on?" And this intuitive had to actually say, look, this is an exchange, a good exchange. I offer no harm. And then this particular life protector said, okay, nodded, and stepped aside for her to be able to get messages. So it's pretty neat stuff. So whether or not you know that you have a relationship with them, you do have a relationship to your soul counsel. They're there. It's just more or less you may or may not realize that they're there. No different than that old metaphor. If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Of course it does. You don't have to be there for it to make a sound. It makes a sound anyway. So part of your belief system, of course, is important, but just to let you know, they're always there protecting you and watching over you. I probably would have been not here to be able to broadcast a few times in my life because it was intervened by my soul counsel. There are a few times. Accidents that happened that I could have gotten horribly hurt or worse, and they had intervened. So this is why I'm a strong, faithful believer in having angels and totem animals and light protectors and the like watching over you. So now we've gone over the shamanic journeying part. So now let's go through with meditation. Now meditation is kind of like a hybrid cross between the whole dreaming thing and the shamanic journey. You sit in a quiet space and you close your eyes and just breathe and just remain open. And then information comes through. So you're not physically going to a place like in the shamanic journey, the lower, middle, or upper realm, but you're actually just listening. As if you walk into an empty house and you're hearing to see if there's anyone in. You're listening for noises, listening for presences. So there's doing that through meditation. You could do it that way. Now, when you're doing it that way, again, allow your imagination to work. Allow that to happen. Don't poke or prod that either, because as you get information, it may seem far-fetched at first, but then you're going to realize more and more as you practice this, it's going to become stronger and stronger, and it's going to become more, you're going to gain a connection. You're going to build a relationship. No different than, we've been here for 65 episodes. You've built some kind of connection somehow with me to want to know what's Moon up to this week. What is he going to talk about this week? What's the topic for this week's show? We had to build that relationship. We had to build that rapport. So in the same difference, you have to do the same thing with your totem animals and soul council, and your ascended masters. And that's another one I haven't mentioned yet. There's ascended masters that you can connect with as well. So you have ascended masters, life protectors, totems, spirit guides. You have spirit children. I know plenty of people that have had spirit children follow them around. Now, those could be children that were supposed to be born that weren't, or children that you had in a physical body that were not solely contracted to stay. And so they're still in spirit watching over you. That's also a possibility. As a matter of fact, I knew someone that had lost a twin when they were younger, and their twin was one of their guides. So even though they lost the twin in this earthly walk, the twin was still there, watching over them, just not in a physical body. So a lot of these things are really, really important, because we really don't always think that this stuff's real. And I just want to let you know, this is real. No different than magic is real. No different than miracles are real. No different than a lot of these things that happen are real. Isn't it interesting how you may think about somebody and all of a sudden the phone rings and it's them? That's real. That's something that is a reality. So now, in meditation, you're a little more than just being an open vessel and getting that information in. Now, you may hear a voice, you may hear things, you may smell things. Be aware and open to any possibility. At first, you are still getting comfortable with the way you filter and the way you accept things. So that's something for you to think about. You can look at it from a lot of different avenues and aspects. I myself, sometimes I'll hear a lot. I tend to feel emotions a lot more empathically, but also too, sometimes I'll download sounds, smells, feelings, emotions. It really depends on what my soul council gives to me and how they give it to me for me to receive it. So I just basically try to be as an open channel as possible. Now, let's go to the dark side of this a little bit. Let's go to the dark side of the force for a moment. Negative things can happen to you too in regarding with this practice. However, and I'm not going to stick with this too long, because it's really, to me, I give a lot of props to my soul council and my life protectors and my posse, if you will, because they do a really good job with protecting me. So I leave it up to them. Just like that saying, let go, let God, no different. And I believe the Creator is the utmost protector and, the All-Father, like in the Vikings, they believe that was the All-Father, parent of all, Great Spirit, whatever label you want to, apply, fill in the blank here. To me, same. But the thing is, I really leave it up to them. So I can honestly say wholeheartedly, from very early on in my life, I basically just let intuition and instinct rule what I do, how I do things, what I decide. As unorthodox or as crazy as it may seem, that's what I actually do. So the logical mind plays, the practical mind plays a little role in it, because if it's really, really kind of out of the box, my logical mind may want to make sense of it a little bit. But ultimately, my instinct and my intuition always rules. Every single time, 95% of the time. That's what usually dictates how I'm going to proceed with any given moment. So now, building a relationship. As you build a relationship with your spirit guides and totem animals, and again, you have plenty. You have a group. It's not just one. It's usually a few totem animals. Some of them come to you reason, season, a lifetime, as well as humanoid or human entities. You can have crystalline entities that come in. So there are a lot of different possibilities or influences that come in. But the thing is, you have to build a relationship with them. No different than I've had to build a relationship with all of you. You have to build a relationship with them. And the closer you become to them, the better it will be. Because then at that point, say for example, you want insight, you want some kind of answer to something. I can literally just close my eyes and go, okay, I'm really wanting an answer about such and such. And almost immediately I will get some form of message, instinct, something comes up almost immediately. Now, if it doesn't, don't worry. That's just your logical inner critic saying and blocking you. They're saying things to get in the way and to block you, like, that's just crazy. What are you thinking? I'm sitting here trying to meditate, trying to connect to some disembodied something. What the hell is that, right? Don't allow your inner critic to get in the way of who you are, because the minute you do that, that's when you have problems, because now you're getting in your own way. And you've known from previous broadcasts that the best thing to do in life is to be the solution, not part of the problem, but be part of the solution, and learn how to get out of your own way, because that's really important. So an open mind, open heart is incredibly important here, with all these different ways of connecting with your soul council, with your totem animals, with your life protectors, angels, all of it, ascended masters. Now, through meditation, it's a little different because now, since it's a cross between the dreaming or the lucid dreaming and the journeying, it's something where when you go into that frame of mind, you're really not looking at what am I going to see. You just want to be open enough to see, feel, or experience something. You can experience a word, you can experience a memory, you can experience a thought, a smell, a sound. Now, try to remember that, because when you come back out of it, again, with your notepad, write it down. Put that stuff down on the side, because when you do that, then you're able to then utilize what it is, what was seen, what was heard, what was said, and then you'll be able to look at, okay, what could this mean to me? How can this apply to me? That's when your logical brain can kind of click in a little bit to help you move into that realm of thinking. Okay, this is everything I picked up. How does this apply to me? Who could this have been? Is there names and that kind of thing? Also, as you build a relationship, you will learn their names, where they come from, whether or not they walked this earth or not, because not all of them did. And then you could look at that from that perspective and say, okay. So this is why I say draw a map. Draw a map, have a journal, write this stuff down, because as you build and as you gain strength and as you build a foundation with you and your soul council, then you're going to start realizing how prominent they've always been, how present they've always been. I remember speaking with someone very much like myself. It was another trading situation, and they had said that they had seen one of my spirit guides, and one of my spirit guides have come through. And this is a prominent one. This is one of my main spirit guides. He is incredibly profound and powerful and doesn't always speak a lot. Doesn't say a lot of words. He's not a big talker, but when he does speak, people listen. So she had picked him up very, very quickly. I recognized who it was as soon as she mentioned, because the presence, the prominence, who he was, how he carried himself, very much. I knew exactly who it was. Now, she had said to me that he was always the first one to show up and always the last one to leave. And it's very true. And then she proceeded to mention a couple of moments in time where no one would have known. No one would have known the situation. So he had to have validated his presence by saying something that he witnessed while he was there, watching over me. So this is very important. This is just, not only this is really cool stuff. So again, do you share this with people you don't know, or share this with people that may be super incredibly judgy or critical of you? I'd say don't. Keep it to yourself. If this is your spiritual path, it's your spiritual path. So you do not have to share it with anybody that you do not feel comfortable with. If someone is not within that belief system, just don't share it. Keep it to yourself. Or also, too, put out there in the ether for you to meet people that connect with you in that way. And the universe will provide. So it's a lot of it like the, believe it, what is it? If you believe it, you can achieve it kind of thing. Or if you can see it, you can believe it, you can achieve it, that kind of thing. So if you put it out there, the universe does provide, and it does reflect back what you think and what you say and what you feel. So that's something for you to be also thoughtful of. If you say, oh, I'm not going to see anything, I'm not going to connect to any of my guides, why am I doing this? You're right. You're absolutely right. And nothing's going to happen. Nothing. However, If you have an open mind and open heart, you're going to find that things do happen, and you'll find that it will become more and more, and I'm going to say magical. It's not just spiritual, but I'm going to say it's magical. It's profound, it's strong, it's life-changing. I would have never been the person I am today if it wasn't for connecting and realizing that I'm the unique person that I am. For all you know, I could have been, average Joe, Who knows? Average Joe didn't work for me, apparently. But I digress. But that's the thing. So it's really all about owning your own and being open to your soul counsel, because ultimately they are there to watch over you, protect you, and give you guidance, help you learn things. Sometimes it's the hard way, sometimes it's the easy way. Sometimes we choose to learn the hard way. Sometimes we choose that lesson over and over and over again, and we realize, wow, wait a minute. Why did that happen all over again? There was a lesson involved. It really was. Now, Michael's saying here, if they're not open-minded to accept more than a narrow belief system, which is true. If you think narrowly, you're going to get narrow results. So thank you very much for sharing that, Michael. And it's true. If you choose to see through this tiny hole, then guess what? That's all you're going to see. I choose to see things from the big picture. That's just me. Sorry, not sorry. But ultimately, you have to understand that they are out there. And I say you have to understand. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do diddly. But be open-minded to understand that ultimately there are so many things that happen that are beyond our five senses. And the sooner you realize that, the more open you're going to become in everything. The better you're going to become in everything. Again, just my opinion. The opinions expressed are of my own and of my own only. I cannot speak for any of you, but I can speak from my experience. So that's part of it. Be open. Go in with an open heart. Go in with an open mind. Don't get in your own way. Want to connect with them. Want to see them. There are plenty of times people have come to me and say, I don't want to hear any bad news. Okay. Now, granted, as tactful as I've been in helping or doing therapy or giving advice or doing intuitive readings, whatever it may be, spiritual healing work, it's always been whatever message that person was supposed to get. So it's not really poking and prodding or investigating what it really means. It's more, this is the message. And just saying it in a way that is easier or more bite-sized for them, not to get freaked out by it. So that's kind of the important thing. So now that's another method that you could utilize. So now once you build a rapport and build a relationship with your guides using one of those techniques, and there are other techniques that I haven't even touched base with, but you can do it through hypnosis as well. And of course, that's if someone like myself, because I'm also a hypnotherapist, someone guides you through and basically put you into an altered state and then helps you remain open so you could connect with your spirit guides. I've done quite a bit of hypnotherapy where I've connected someone to that, to their spirit guides and totems and ascended masters, life protectors. And it was through that way I kind of lull their logical mind into the background where their intuition is now on the forefront. Their abstract mind, their whimsical mind, their inner child is listening as opposed to the judgmental adult. So that's another way that's utilized as well, is through hypnotherapy. Now, these are just a few techniques, and there's probably many more techniques that you can utilize to do that. You can also do it slowly and gradually through just daily practice, using these techniques, daily practice of doing it, or doing it 2 or 3 times a week. And then, as you know, information will start coming more so and more so and more so, to the point where you're going to get more and more information. And when you build on more and more information, you're going to be a stronger channel. You may find out that you're an empath. You may find out that that you have a stronger psychic gift than you thought in the beginning. So these are all, things to kind of keep in the back of your mind when you're in the process of learning and practicing and going into this bit of practice. So we're going to summarize this the broadcast, and then we're going to be closing up in a few minutes. But looking at this from the perspective of, again, skeptics, I absolutely welcome them. Why? Because some of the biggest clients and the people that I've really helped in a major way were very, very skeptical. And when a skeptic becomes a believer, that's hardcore. That's absolute hardcore stuff. Just like, someone that buys the newest, biggest thing all the time, they may not be the best person as far as to focus on one particular thing, right? But when someone says, hey, look, you know what, I've used this brand, or I've done this type of thing, or I've gone to this person, and this person is tried and true and 100%. All of that. The skeptic usually has more of a grip and really takes it on stronger than the average person that just is like, oh, whatever. Something to think about. So this is why I've had multiple discussions with skeptics, atheists, a lot of different types of people, and I invite that kind of conversation because they've taught me as well as I've taught them. We share experiences and stories, and when we do that, that's when we learn. So let's bring it down. Now, different methods. Backtrack, hypnotherapy is one way. You go to someone that you feel that you can trust to guide you through this particular, technique. So you can find your spirit guides, totem animals, ascended masters, life protectors, angels, anyone in your soul council. So hypnotherapy is one. And that's something where you don't have to do a lot, just be a participant in. Then you have the meditation. That's where you are partially open and you're just open to receive information. And then you jot it down, and then that way, after the fact, then you can look in and research what you picked up. Not necessarily during, but you try to save it till afterwards, so that way you can look into it. Another way, through journeying. And again, you can do that through the help of someone, like myself, that does shamanic work, but also too, you could do that through finding, an audio, drumming disc or rattling, or you can also use video utilizing YouTube itself. If you look up shamanic drumming, you can check that as well. And then you can go into that and find that way of connecting with your soul council or who comes up. The most prominent one is going to come up, not the one necessarily you want to see. So it may not be Grandpa Elmo or Aunt Sally. You never know. The most prominent one that you need to know about is going to come up. at that moment for you. So now that's through meditation, through journeying. And so now when you do that, and then you, of course, can do the complete involuntary thing by going into just straight up dreaming with a powerful intention prior to going to sleep, having a pad, which through all these techniques, I would suggest having a pad, some form of dream journal, gratitude journal, anything that you could write down in to document and record your progress. Very important. And then, of course, when you're dreaming, you set the positive intention, and then you just go to sleep. This may not happen right away. You may not remember the dream right away, but add that into your intention. Add that into your intention. Say, I will remember my dream in the morning when I wake up. I will remember the key points of this dream. I will remember it vividly. Because again, your mind is like a computer. Your mind is a computer. So what you tell it or program it to do, it's going to do for you. It's that literal. The universe is very similarly the same. That's why self-limiting beliefs and thoughts and criticism and your inner critic needs to step aside, because that inner critic may be the thing that stops you up from your own physical or spiritual or mental development. So looking at all those different methods, if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me, and I will definitely I'll leave my information at the end, of course, of this broadcast. But any questions, you can feel free to reach out and ask. Or if you want to share an experience or a dream that you've had, you can also do that as well. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to end up this broadcast, and I just want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank all of you for spending time with me here on Insight with Moonshadow. Week to week, you guys show up, and it really, it's amazing to me that you guys are here, because it's like clockwork, and this is why I do what I do, because you guys really, 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 you really help and teach me no different than I teach you. Because in sharing these experiences, that's how we really become better people. That's how I become better, and that's how I become better in the world. So if you feel guided or inspired to connect or support, please follow and subscribe to me on my social media. You can also go to phoenixrisinghealingarts.com or moonphoenixrising.com. And of course, thank you all for being here. And as I say every week, be strong, be amazing, be you. Light and love to all of you. Take care. Hope you have a great Easter holiday, and looking forward to seeing you guys next week.